Bonjour! My name is Abomination, and welcome to the YCL Season 7. This is my draft analysis. Okay? We had 82 points to pick exactly 10 Pokemon, and 13 points of those Pokemon could be made into 1 to 3 Terra-type captains. Now, there's 2 divisions with 8 coaches in each one, and I got the second pick out of those 8. I've never actually been first, but I've been second actually like 3 times now, I think. So I'm fairly lucky. Anyway, I'll just get right into it. First up, I chose Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle's obviously a beast. It doesn't have much coverage, but it doesn't really matter because water and freeze dry hit everything. There's nothing really that switches in on it, except for like a Azumarill with thick fat. I've seen that happen once in a video. There was a video on League, yay, on it, yeah. But yeah, aside from that, there isn't much else. If they're like a Blissey that's in my way, I do a flip turn or a U-turn. So yeah, Iron Bundle is great. It's the revenge of Delibird. Delibird's revenge. Yeah. And then obviously that's my second pick, goes all the way down to the bottom, all the way back up to me. It is obviously a snake draft. And then in the second round, I picked up Dragonite. Dragonite is obviously a beast. I've had it before. His name is Remore. I've had it in, I think, all of my Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl leagues. Because in that league, there's really nothing nothing stops him in that league. In that game, really. I felt like he was good, but he's actually better in this game. He's got more moves. So I don't know why I thought he was better in that one. It's kind of silly to me to think that way, but yeah, I just did. I don't know why. But anyway, I have Dragonite again. So Iron Bundle on Dragonite right off the bat. Pretty expensive picks. But they're not that bad, actually. Dragonite was only like 14 points, and I think the maximum is 17 or 18 points. So Dragonite was actually pretty cheap, I think. Multiscale pretty much allows it to survive any hit. Maybe same type attack bonus Ice Beam from like a Iron Bundle. It wouldn't be able to survive Iron Bundle is the first thing came to mind. But something else like that. Or a super powerful Draco Meteor. Like a Specs adaptability Dragalge, for example, maybe. But anyway, right off the bat, that's Iron Bundle and Dragonite, very strong. And then obviously I pretty much had back-to-back picks. Round 3 I chose Gallade. Gallade is 9 points. Now I'm not complaining here, but I think 9 points is very generous for Gallade. Because it has sharpness, that's a 50% boost to pretty much every move it can possibly need. I think it just has all the cutting moves. There's no reason not to. So sharpness will power up Sacred Sword, which it now gets. And Sacred Sword is a great move. No need to close combat anymore. It's actually stronger in close combat with sharpness. Psycho Cut, obviously. Night Slash, Leaf Blade, X Scissor, and it gets Aqua Cutter in this game too, so it has a water type cutting move. But it has lots of coverage. That is boosted by sharpness. I think 9 points is very generous. Because it hits so hard. So if you can't tell, I have high expectations for Gallade. I think Gallade could be something that I could try to draft like every time I'm in a league, because it's very cool. I always liked Gallade, but I didn't really like Gallade. Know what I mean? So yeah, this is round 3. In round 4, it has to go all the way through the draft again. I grabbed Mimikyu. Mimikyu is awesome. it is 8 points, which is, that's pretty good. Disguise means I can take any hit I want and get a free turn. Same thing with Remore, Dragonite. I don't have names for everyone yet. But Dragonite can take a hit, do whatever it wants. Mimikyu as Disguise can take a hit, do whatever it wants. Both of those guys pretty much get a free turn. Mimikyu is obviously way more guaranteed than Dragonite's free turn, because it 100% has it, except for I have to watch out for a Mold Breaker. That will break through, that will ignore disguises. I'm not really sure what has Mold Breaker that can really hurt me, because Haxorus, I guess Haxorus is probably the big one that I would want to switch in on. I have to be aware it has Mold Breaker. But anyway, Mimikyu, and then I had my back-to-back picks pretty much, except for one team that was ahead of me. In round 5 out of 10, I grabbed Magnezone. Now, guess what? Gets in the way of both Remore and both Dragonite, and Iron Bundle. Steel types kind of get in the way. Iron Bundle doesn't really like steel types. So you can Hydro Pump them. I want to be able to spam ice as much as possible. The Freeze Dry is a very spammable move, except for steel types, really, they kind of get in the way. Fire types aren't going to switch in on that, obviously, fearing water type stuff. So, being able to use Freeze Dry as much as possible without having to worry about steel types. So, Magnezone has Magnet Pole. So, it traps in steel types. Most steel types have a way to sort of deal with Magnezone, so it's kind of hard to switch in. Most of them have ground coverage or fighting coverage. Some of them don't really have that. So, but even then, if I get a free switch in from if Iron Bundle just flip turns, and I flip turn into the Magnezone when they bring in their steel type, then it's trapped in, and hopefully Magnezone can get rid of them, so I can use Freeze Dry in the future of that match and just kind of destroy things. Same thing with Dragonite. It does have Earthquake, but for, I'm thinking of Steelix, but Steelix is not in the game. Like a very physically defensive Steel type, which is a lot of them. If Magnezone gets rid of them, Dragonite can come in and kind of take care of things. Fairy types, still a problem for Dragonite, but Magnezone at least hits those super effectively as well, so I think Magnezone is a good piece. Magnezone I also had in BDSP, so I think it's a good partner with Dragonite, even though I wasn't actually thinking of that literally in this. I kind of just saw it for, I think it was 8 points. I think that was pretty good. I said Mimikyu was 8 points. Gallade was 9, yeah, I said all the points so far. And then that was my back-to-back picks, so just kidding, no it wasn't. Just kidding, no, Mimikyu and Magnezone were my back-to-back. I'm being dumb. Dragonite, Gallade were back-to-back. Yeah, and then, yeah. And then I had to wait for the whole time again. And I realized at this point, 5 guys in, I don't have any way to remove hazards. Because there's so little defoggers in this game, Dragonite can't actually do it. Even if he could do it, I wouldn't really want him as my defogger, so I wanted some defog or Rapid Spin. Turns out Rapid Spin was a better option. A lot of defoggers are flying types. Don't really appreciate that. Caesar can do it, can defog. And a few other guys, but I obviously wasn't going to get Caesar. It was taken at this point, I'm sure. Yes, I see it right there, round 3. But anyway, I didn't have a Rapid Spin or a defog, so I got Toad Scroll. I'm not the biggest fan of this Pokemon. It kind of looks weird. It's kind of fine. Obviously, I prefer Tentacruel. I very much so do. Its ability, I kind of don't like as well. You can use status moves, ignoring the opponent's abilities. However, it's negative priority, so it will always move last. The only thing I think about that working on is if I try to toxic Snorlax, has immunity, which means it can't be poisoned, but I actually can poison it because I ignore that. Snorlax is not in the game. I can't even think of anything that affects. I don't know what would ignore that. Sap Sipper on Spore, I guess. But most Sap Sipper users are grass types anyway, just not Miltank. Miltank's not in the game. Girafarig, I guess, and Farigiraf. Those two have Sap Sipper, and they're not grass types. So I guess it'll work on those, but I don't really like his ability. Because it has 100 speed, I'm kind of thinking they did that on purpose. It has 100 speed, so if it had Spore and 100 base speed, that would kind of be a little too good. Because it's not like there's a sleep cause in the league, but unlike regular gameplay, there's obviously no sleep cause. So 100 base speed and Spore would be too good, so they kind of gave it that ability. It's its only ability to kind of nerf it down a bit. So that's fine. It still has Spore though. Spore is a good move. It is a ground type. I knew I wanted a ground type. I actually had Donphan listed as my ground type when after I put Iron Bundle in. I kind of just made the rest of the team, Iron Bundle and Dragonite, I think, and then after that I kind of made the whole team. And the only snipe I had this entire draft was Donphan. So Donphan was 7 points, I think. Maybe it was 8 points, 7 or 8 points. It was 8 points. So then I had, after it was taken, there was no other ground type at 8 points, so I was kind of scrambling around a little bit. But anyway, I ended up getting Toedscruel for 6 points, which is pretty good. It's also a grass type. In the original draft, I had Lilligant, which I noticed is not even drafted. My original plan was to get Lilligant and Donphan. That way my Terra Captains would be Gallade and Lilligant. That would be 13 points. 9. Gallade is 9, Lilligant is 4. That was my original plan. That did not work out, but I'm fine with what I have. I still like what I had. So anyway, I got Toedscruel, and then round 7, which is my back-to-back pick, I got Komala. Komala can rapid spin as well. Toedscruel can rapid spin, that's why I picked it up. Donphan can rapid spin, so Toedscruel is the closest sort of piece, except for instead of being physically defensive, it's actually specially defensive, which is not bad for a ground type. Since they want to deal with grass and water types, ground types, right? So, part grass, so I can deal with grass very well. And grass and water are mostly special. I think of them as special attackers. Anyway, Komala can rapid spin. That's not its only thing. I didn't know anything about Komala until I took a look at its stats and such, and actually has base 95 special defense. Pretty good. Decent HP as well. Also, I looked at its move pool. It learns U-turn. That's really good. I like U-turn. It learns Earthquake, and it doesn't learn Stone Edge, it learns Rock Slide. It has fighting coverage with Brick Break, I think. But Rapid Spin is why I wanted it in the first place, and I looked at it and it's like, hey, it's really good. So, I actually really like it. I haven't used it, like I said. It also gets Body Slam. Obviously, normal type, it gets normal type stab. Yeah, and I guess I should say now, Komala is a Terra type captain on my team, and Mimikyu is the other Terra type captain on my team. Komala was 5 points, so I think that's pretty good for Komala. Miltank is 5 points. So I think they're pretty good. Komala can't use Stealth Rock. Miltank can, but Miltank can't U-turn. Komala can, but Miltank can heal. I'd still obviously prefer Miltank. But the U-turn potential there is good. Komala can rapid spin, and Miltank can't. But, so they're very different, despite being normal types. Komala is especially defensive, Miltank is physically defensive. So, yeah, they're actually very different. But, yeah, anyway, so Komala is good. Rapid Spin is a Terra-type captain. Mimikyu is a Terra-type captain. Sort of my plan with Mimikyu being a Terra-type, I was tossing up between Mimikyu and Magnezone. They're both 8 points. I had a lot of 8-point guys in this draft. But Mimikyu and Magnezone were the toss-up, and I didn't really know, but I chose Mimikyu because I figured if I have Disguise, I can come in on something, and I can change my type into a type that is immune to a move, and sort of predict them to use that move, so I can get a free turn without breaking on Disguise. If they say, well, that's not a good example, say they're an electric type, and I Terra in the ground, they try to break my disguise with an electric type move. Obviously, it doesn't hit me. I use Swords Dance. I still have a disguise, and +2 in attack. That's kind of my plan with Mimikyu, with the Terra type. So that should be good. If I get that prediction right. If the electric type just uses like U-turn or something, breaks my disguise, goes into some Scarf Steel type and teaches me a lesson. Well, not Steel, because I'd be ground at that point. But whatever, into a Scarf Water type. Then I'd be in trouble. But anyway, Mimikyu, that's my plan with the Terra Captain. Komala was my only 5-point guy, so that equals 13 points. I don't have to be 13 points, but Komala was the only choice. Anything that was under 5 is actually my 1-point guy that I picked around 10, so obviously I picked Komala over my 1-point guy, which I'll get to in a few rounds here, but anyway, Komala was round 7. Round 8. I didn't actually think I was going to get this Pokemon for some reason, or actually either 8 or 9, but they worked out fine. This is my next back-to-back. I got Salazzle in round 8. I didn't have a fire type yet, and poison types are always good because you can soak up toxic spikes. And they're not really weak to anything. They're weak to ground and psychic, but that's it for poison types. So they don't really hurt your type chart. So Salazzle is good. Corrosion is an awesome ability. I love the idea that you can poison, steel, and poison types. I think that's really cool. Glamora comes to mind as a good switch in to Salazzle because it would resist both its stabs, but it can be poisoned. Glamora actually also has corrosion, which is cool, but normally, obviously, it's going to run toxic debris, which is annoying, but it could have corrosion. Anyway, Salazzle is pretty quick. Also, my speed tiers. My second fastest guy was Toadscruel. Iron Bundle is 136, all the way down to Toadscruel with 100. Salazzle is 117, so that kind of fixes the speed tier a little bit. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I really wanted to fix that. Round 9, next up, was just another back-to-back. I got another poison type, actually, and another water type. I got Toxapex. In round 9, now I'm obviously aware it doesn't have Scald, which is what made it even more annoying, but it's still indestructible. It still has Recover, Painful Bunker, and it doesn't miss Toxic, and it has Haze, and it soaks up Toxic Spikes, and it is just annoying. And it is a good backbone piece, and it has Regenerator. I don't have a 2 Regenerator, I don't have a Core, but just 1 Regenerator is fine by me. It's a good thing to just fall back on, right? Because my bulky guys right now are like, Toadscruel is a bulky guy, Komala, kind of a bulky guy, and Magnezone is pretty bulky, especially being steel type, and Dragonite can be bulky too, but none of them really necessarily excel at it. Toxapex is a good thing to just kind of fall back on if I'm really in trouble here, and it's good for scouting things because it has Regenerator. That's an awesome ability to scout out choice items. So if they're Scarfed, you can take a hit, come in, and see what they lock themselves into, and switch out into the necessary piece, and I get my healing Regenerator back. If it's Banded or Specs, same thing. Unless it's like super effective, then that will probably hurt Toxapex a little bit, but it probably shouldn't one-shot it. Unless it's the same type of attack bonus. Right? So that's round 9, and then in round 10, I originally had Murkrow as the last guy, but I actually switched it out. Murkrow was taken before I got to it, but that's not why I switched it out. I actually switched it out before Murkrow was taken, but anyway, I switched it to Krokorok because on my entire team, I have nobody that can use Stealth Rocks. Krokorok is my first guy out of all 10 guys that can use Stealth Rocks. Now, I don't really care about that. It's probably a concern for someone who's rating my team. Krokorok's my only Stealth Rocker. I don't really like Stealth Rocks. I'll use them. I use them often. I don't like them. They're because they're kind of, if you think about it, they're kind of disgusting. Like they're dirty fighting, which I'm perfectly okay with dirty fighting. I mean, I have a Toxapex. I'm going to be poisoning things. The Salazzle's going to be poisoning things, but yeah, I don't know. It's they're kind of silly. I don't know. I'd find them kind of silly, but whatever. I'm still going to use them. Croc Rock is there for Stealth Rock, and it actually is pretty bulky. It has Intimidate with the Eviolite. It's a ground and dark type, which is pretty good typing. Yeah. So, yeah, it also has Moxie, so if I want to, its attack is not bad. It's 76 or 78 or something like that. Not bad attack, and it's pretty quick, so if I put a Choice Scarf on it and throw it into a match, I could get some momentum in my way and get some Choice Scarf Moxie. Probably going to be difficult with Croc Rock. Probably going to run it with Eviolite. I don't remember if in the rules I have to bring all my guys at least once, but even if it's not there, I'm saying yeah, I will bring all my guys at least once, so Croc Rock will show up to a match. Don't know when. Honestly, this is, I think, in my opinion, I might be wrong. Aside from the Stealth Rock thing, I think this is one of the strongest teams I have drafted in any league. It is definitely stronger than my NPA team that I have going on right now. I'm pretty sure. I think this is one of the strongest teams I've ever drafted. My last YCL team with the Dracozolt, Hippowdon, Mr. Woods, and Mr. Hans. Those two, that was a good team too, but I don't like weather. I'm not good with either. Anyway, I think this is the best team I've drafted. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which I'm talking to my opponents by teaching me a lesson by beating me. Yeah. It won't be my Pokemon's fault if I lose. Or the draft that I picked. It'll be my dumb fault. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me. That's my draft analysis. I'll see you next week for the week 1 battle. But anyway, yeah, see you then. Thanks for watching and listening. Smell you later.